Welcome to Wealth Hustle 247 podcast, your trusted guide to financial literacy, business innovation, and entrepreneurial success. Learn how to grow your wealth, make informed decisions, and turn your ideas into profitable ventures.
Emotional intelligence is the key to unlocking success. In this AI-generated overview of nurturing emotional intelligence for business, financial, and life success, discover how mastering your emotions can enhance your decision-making, relationships, and overall success. Learn how emotional intelligence empowers you to thrive in every aspect of your life. Start cultivating it today. Your future success is within reach.
Let's dive into something pretty interesting today.
Okay.
We're going to be taking a look at this document called Nurturing Emotional Intelligence
Okay.
for Life, Finance, and Business Success. And
Yeah.
I think that's something we can all get behind, right?
Yeah,
Who doesn't want success in life and finance and business?
absolutely. And it all starts with emotional intelligence, or EI.
Yeah, so
It's-
this is really interesting because like when we think of success, we often think like, oh, book smarts, right?
Yeah, the IQ.
High IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But this document is suggesting that emotional intelligence is like even more important.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because, for a long time we kind of put all this emphasis on like cognitive abilities.
Right.
But what research is showing is that this emotional intelligence, this ability to understand and manage your own emotions and recognize emotions in others,
Yeah.
that's actually a much stronger predictor of success.
Okay, so like, why is that though?
Yeah.
Why is emotional intelligence so important?
Well, because it really impacts how we navigate relationships,
Okay.
how we make decisions, and how we handle stress. And those are all crucial skills for success in any area of life.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I mean, you think about it, if you can't manage your emotions, you're more likely to make like impulsive decisions
Right.
or, say the wrong thing at the wrong time and like ruin relationships.
Exactly. And that can have a ripple effect across your entire life.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So it's not just about being smart, it's about being smart with your emotions.
Okay, I like that. So this document kind of breaks it down into three key areas where emotional intelligence really makes a difference, and that's personal life, finances, and the business world.
That's right. And what's interesting is that these areas are all interconnected.
Okay.
So, developing your emotional intelligence in one area can actually have positive benefits in all the others.
Right, so it's not like, oh, I have good EI in my personal life, but in business, I'm a wreck.
Exactly. It all kind of works together.
Okay, cool. So I'm curious, like, is everyone on board with this whole emotional intelligence thing?
Well, there are always some skeptics out there.
Right.
Some people might argue that it's a bit fluffy, or hard to measure.
Okay.
But the research is pretty compelling.
Yeah.
There's a growing body of evidence that shows a strong correlation between high emotional intelligence and success in a variety of areas.
Okay, so it's not just like a feel-good concept. It's actually backed by science.
Exactly. And even if you're not fully convinced, the potential benefits are definitely worth exploring.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even if it just helps you, like, manage stress a little better,
Absolutely.
it's got to be worth it, right?
Definitely.
All right, so let's dive into these three areas where emotional intelligence really shines. Starting with our personal lives, the document talks about how strong EI can lead to, like, stronger, healthier relationships and even fewer, like, emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
I mean, sign me up for that, right?
Right. Who wouldn't want that?
So like, how does that work? How does EI actually make our relationships better?
Well, let's imagine a scenario where you and your partner are having an argument.
Right.
Someone with lower emotional intelligence might just react impulsively,
Right.
get defensive, escalate the conflict.
Yeah.
But someone with higher EI would be able to pause,
Okay.
recognize their own emotions, and then choose a more constructive approach.
Okay, so it's about, like, taking a step back
Exactly.
and not just, like, reacting immediately.
Exactly. It's about responding rather than reacting.
Okay, I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
And that ability to self-regulate is crucial for healthy relationships.
Yeah, because if you're constantly, like, blowing up or,
Right.
getting into fights,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a good foundation.
Exactly. It's going to create a lot of tension and resentment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about the financial side of things?
All right, so let's talk money.
Yeah, because everyone loves talking about money, right?
Right. Well, our emotions can really mess with our financial decisions.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Fear and greed, especially.
Right.
Think about it when the stock market takes a dip.
Uh-oh.
People with low EI, They might panic and sell everything, locking in their losses.
Yeah.
But someone with higher EI would be able to recognize that fear is driving their decision making.
Okay.
And they might choose to hold on to their investments
Mm-hmm.
because they know that the market tends to recover over time.
Right. So it's like taking a long-term perspective
Exactly.
and not just letting like your immediate emotions
Yeah,
dictate what you do.
that's right. It's about making rational decisions based on your financial goals,
Right.
not your emotional state.
Okay. I can see how that would be super helpful, especially when it comes to like investing,
Absolutely.
because it's so easy to get caught up in the hype or,
Yeah, the fear,
the fear. Yeah,
the FOMO.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the business world.
Okay, so in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence is becoming increasingly important
Okay.
because it's really all about people skills, being able to communicate effectively,
Mm-hmm.
build relationships,
Right.
motivate teams.
Yeah. And I think we've all had bosses or coworkers who like lack those skills.
Oh, absolutely.
And it makes a huge difference.
It does.
Like if your boss is like completely clueless about how their actions are impacting people,
Right.
it creates a toxic work environment.
Exactly. And it can really hinder productivity and morale.
Yeah. Okay. So we've established that emotional intelligence is like super important,
Mm-hmm.
but how do we actually develop it?
Yeah,
Like, can you really teach someone to be more emotionally intelligent?
that's a great question. And the answer is yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
It's a skill set
Okay.
that can be learned and developed over time,
Cool.
just like any other skill.
All right. So how do we do it? Like, where do we start?
Well, our source material breaks down emotional intelligence into 5 core components.
Okay.
And these are like the building blocks for emotional mastery.
Okay. I'm ready to lay it on me.
Yeah.
What are these 5 components?
They are self-awareness, self-regulation,
Okay.
motivation,
Mm-hmm.
empathy,
Mm.
and social skills.
Okay, cool. So we're going to break all these down
Absolutely.
in more detail.
We're going to dive deep into each one of these components.
Awesome. I am so excited to learn more about this.
Me too. It's going to be fascinating.
All right,
Wow.
let's do it. All right, so we're back and we're diving into those 5 components of emotional intelligence,
Yes.
starting with self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
So what is that like in the context of emotional intelligence?
It's like having this inner mirror
Okay.
that's reflecting your true emotions so you can see what's going on inside.
Okay.
It's about recognizing how you're feeling in any given moment and understanding how those emotions are impacting your thoughts and your actions.
Okay, so it's not just like knowing that you're like angry or sad.
Right.
It's like understanding why you feel that way
Exactly.
and what might be triggering those emotions.
Yeah, you're digging a little deeper.
Okay.
You're going beyond just the surface level.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then once you have that self-awareness,
Right.
that's where you can start to like manage those emotions.
Exactly. And that leads us to self-regulation,
Ah, okay.
which is the next component.
So self-regulation, that's like, not just letting your emotions like run wild.
Right.
And
It's
it-
not about suppressing your emotions.
Okay.
It's about managing them effectively.
Okay, so like what does that look like in practice?
So it's about finding healthy ways to express your emotions,
Hmm.
coping with stress in constructive ways, and staying calm even when things get tough.
Right, because I think we've all had those moments where we just like totally lose our cool
Oh, yeah.
and it never ends well.
It rarely does.
So I remember reading a study about traders on Wall Street,
Okay.
and the ones who were able to stay calm under pressure,
Right.
they actually made way better investment decisions.
That's a great example of self-regulation in action
Right.
because they weren't letting their emotions cloud their judgment.
Right, they were able to stay focused,
Okay.
even though everything was like crazy around them.
Right, even in a volatile market.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have motivation.
Motivation.
Everyone wants to be motivated, right?
Of course.
But how does this connect to emotional intelligence?
So motivation in the context of EI is really about aligning your actions with your values
Oh, right.
and finding a deeper sense of purpose in what you do.
So it's not just about like wanting something.
Right.
It's about having that inner drive
Exactly.
to actually achieve it.
And that drive keeps you going even when you face setbacks.
Right, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, right?
Absolutely.
It's like you start out all gung-ho,
Yeah.
but then you hit a roadblock.
You lose steam.
Yeah, and you're like, ugh, I give up.
Exactly. And that's why self-regulation is so important here
Okay.
because it helps you manage those feelings of frustration or discouragement.
Right, so you can like power through.
Exactly.
And this is where setting SMART goals comes in.
Yes. Setting
Yeah.
SMART goals is a great way to stay motivated.
Okay, can you remind me what SMART stands for again?
Absolutely. So SMART goals are specific,
Okay.
measurable,
Mhm.
achievable,
Okay.
relevant,
Right.
and time-bound.
Okay, so it's all about like breaking down those big goals
Ah,
into smaller, more manageable steps.
exactly. It makes it less overwhelming.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to celebrate those small wins
Absolutely.
along the way.
Yes. Celebrating your progress helps you stay motivated.
Like, if you're trying to lose weight
Okay.
and you lose like 1 pound,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, yes,
Celebrate it.
I'm doing it.
It keeps you going.
It keeps you going.
Yeah. And visualization can be helpful here too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by vividly imagining yourself achieving your goals,
Okay.
you create this mental blueprint for success.
I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about the whole visualization thing.
I get it.
It sounds kind of woo-woo to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
But I mean, if it works,
Well, there's actually a growing body of research suggesting that visualization can impact our behavior.
really.
It's not magic,
Okay.
but it's a way of priming our brains for success.
Okay, so it's like telling your subconscious mind,
Right.
this is what I want,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make it happen.
Exactly. You're setting the intention.
Okay, interesting. All right, so let's move on to empathy,
Empathy.
often considered like the heart of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, it's a really crucial component.
Okay, so what is empathy?
It's the ability to step into someone else's shoes
Okay.
and understand their perspective.
Even if it's different from your own.
Exactly, even if you don't agree with them.
Right, and I think a lot of people confuse empathy with sympathy,
Yeah, they're often used interchangeably.
but they're not the same thing.
They're not quite the same. Sympathy is more about feeling sorry for someone,
Okay.
while empathy is about really understanding their feelings and experiences.
Even if you haven't personally gone through the same thing.
Right, it's about putting your own judgments aside
Okay,
and really trying to see the world through their eyes.
got it.
Mm.
And how do we develop empathy?
Well, active listening is crucial.
Okay.
It's about giving the other person your undivided attention, asking clarifying questions, and really trying to understand their perspective without interrupting or judging.
So it's like putting aside your own thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and opinions
Yeah.
and just really focusing on what they're saying.
Exactly, and what they're feeling.
Okay. And then finally, we have social skills.
Social skills, the glue that holds it all together.
Yes. Because what good is emotional intelligence if you can't, like, connect with people?
Right, it's all about building and maintaining those positive relationships.
Okay, so what does that involve?
Well, it's a pretty broad category,
Okay.
but it encompasses everything from communication and conflict resolution to collaboration and networking.
So it's about being able to, like, articulate your needs clearly,
Yes.
build rapport with others,
Mm-hmm.
and navigate those tricky social situations.
Exactly. And having strong social skills can make a huge difference in both your personal and professional life.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now that we've covered all 5 pillars of EI,
Yes.
let's move on to the practical side.
All right, let's get practical.
How do we actually develop these skills?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Because it all sounds great in theory,
It does.
but how do we actually become more emotionally intelligent? So we've talked about these 5 key components
Yeah.
of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills.
Right. All important.
Yeah, but how do we actually, like, put it all into practice?
Yeah, that's the real challenge, right?
It's one thing to understand the concepts,
Right.
but how do we actually become more emotionally intelligent?
Yeah. Well, the good news is that emotional intelligence is a skill set you can develop
Okay.
with practice and the right strategies.
So it's not like you're just born with it.
Not necessarily.
Okay, cool. So our source material has some really helpful tips.
It does.
Let's explore those,
Okay.
starting with self-awareness,
Okay, self-awareness.
because I think that's where it all begins, right? You can't really manage your emotions if you don't even know what you're feeling.
Right, you got to know yourself.
So one of the most powerful tools for boosting self-awareness is journaling.
Yes, journaling can be very helpful.
I've tried journaling in the past,
Okay.
but I always felt like I was just writing down a bunch of random thoughts.
Yeah. It can be hard to know where to start.
So any tips for making it more effective?
Sure, try focusing on specific situations or interactions that triggered strong emotions for you.
Cool.
So really think about what happened. How did you feel?
Okay.
What thoughts were going through your mind?
Okay.
What was your physical response?
So it's not just about, like, venting your feelings.
Right.
It's about analyzing them.
Exactly. You're looking for insights and patterns.
Okay. And what about getting feedback from others?
Oh, that can be really valuable.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have blind spots when it comes to our own behavior.
Right.
So feedback from trusted sources can help us see things more clearly.
That can be a little scary, though.
I
To, like, hear what people really think of you.
It's important to choose people who you trust
Okay.
and who will provide constructive feedback.
And remember, you don't have to agree with everything they say.
Right.
Okay, so what about self-regulation?
Okay. Self-regulation.
Any tips for those of us who struggle with, like, keeping our cool under pressure?
Sure, one of the simplest yet most effective strategies is to pause before reacting.
Okay.
So when you feel those strong emotions rising, just take a deep breath.
Okay.
Give yourself a moment to process before you say or do something you might regret.
It's like hitting the pause button
Exactly.
on your emotions.
Right.
Okay, I like that. And that pause can make all the difference
It can.
because it allows you to choose a more thoughtful response
Yeah.
rather than just reacting impulsively.
Exactly.
What about developing healthy coping mechanisms
Yes, that's
for
crucial.
dealing with stress?
Absolutely, because life is full of stressors.
Yeah.
So instead of turning to unhealthy habits like, overeating or, whatever your vice might be.
Find constructive outlets that help you de-stress.
Exactly. Things like exercise, creative activities, spending time in nature.
Okay.
These are all great ways to manage stress.
Our source also mentions setting personal boundaries,
Yes, boundaries are essential.
which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with,
Yeah, it's a tough one.
especially in today's world where we're always connected.
Right.
So how do we set those boundaries?
Well, it's about learning to say no,
Okay.
to protect your time, your energy,
Okay.
your emotional well-being.
So it's about prioritizing
Exactly.
what's really important
Yeah,
and letting go of the things that are just draining you.
that's right.
Okay, let's move on to motivation.
All right, motivation.
Our source suggests setting SMART goals.
Yes, SMART goals.
Can you remind me what that stands for again?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Right, and breaking down those big overwhelming goals into smaller steps.
Yes.
It's much less daunting.
It does. It makes it feel more manageable.
Yeah, and don't forget to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Oh, yes. Celebrate those victories.
It helps you stay motivated.
Absolutely. It keeps the momentum going.
Okay, let's talk about empathy.
Empathy.
You mentioned that it's often considered like the heart of emotional intelligence.
It is. It's so important for building strong relationships.
So any practical tips for becoming a better listener?
Sure, active listening is key.
Okay.
Give the other person your undivided attention. Ask clarifying questions.
Really try to understand their perspective
Exactly.
without interrupting
Right.
or judging.
Yeah. Just be present with them.
So it's about putting aside your own thoughts
Mm.
and opinions.
Yes.
Okay, and just really focusing on what they're saying.
Right. And what they're feeling.
Okay, and then finally we have social skills.
Social skills.
What are some key things people can work on to improve their social skills?
Well, clear and respectful communication is essential. Learn to articulate your thoughts and feelings in a way that's both assertive and considerate.
And when conflicts arise,
Right, because
focus on finding solutions that work for everyone involved.
yeah, collaboration is key.
Okay, so it's not about avoiding conflict
Mm.
or trying to please everyone all the time.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into emotional intelligence,
Yes.
I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
What's one area of your life where you could benefit from stronger EI?
Yeah, think about that.
Is it in your relationships, your finances, your career,
It could be any area of your life.
or maybe just your overall well-being?
Right.
Whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
think about one small step you can take today to start cultivating that area.
Yes, just one small step.
Maybe it's committing to a daily journaling practice
Okay.
to boost your self-awareness,
Yeah,
or setting a boundary to protect your time and energy,
that's a good one.
or practicing active listening to strengthen your relationships.
Oh, great ideas.
The key is to start somewhere
Yes, start small.
and keep moving forward.
That's right.
Remember, emotional intelligence is not a destination.
It's a journey.
It's a journey that can lead to a more fulfilling, successful, and impactful life.
Absolutely.
So take that first step today
Yes.
and keep exploring the power of EI.
You might be surprised at what you discover.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.
That's it for today's episode of Wealth Hustle 247. Be sure to follow, like, comment, and share with others. Keep pushing toward your goals, and we'll see you in the next episode.